So according to this organization, which is Advent Conspiracy, Americans spend $450 billion each year on the holidays. So if you guys can think of what you bought your friends and family last year, the money you spent on them, the gifts you got them, or maybe you can't even remember, thinking back, did those gifts really change their lives? Did it really benefit them all that much? And what if we spent money to donate and actually change people's lives for the better, people who actually need certain things that we can't provide for them? I think for the most part, we all love the holidays. I know I do. It's a time where we all get together with our family and friends and celebrate the season. But I think we need to focus on keeping it more at just that, just celebrating rather than giving gifts and spending a ton of money throughout the season. We spend so much money on tangible gifts and materialistic things, and I think we could spend that money better in different areas. So this is why I propose that everyone should donate or volunteer at least once during the holiday season. Donations and volunteering are beneficial to the community, and to narrow it down, I would suggest that everyone volunteers at an organization called Potluck in the Park, which is located in downtown. According to your survey results, most of you were most interested in helping homeless people rather than any other group, so I think this is a good organization where you guys could do just that. There's so many people who are less fortunate than us. They need food, water, people who want to get an education, but they don't have the resources to do so, people who want to start families, but they don't have the money or the funds or the necessities to make that a reality. And I think us being more fortunate, we're good people to help them. So first, I want to talk about the people who are in need, the people that need our help. Second, I want to discuss our spending habits during the holidays. And third, I'll talk about what we could do to change these bad habits. From 2008 to 2009, the number of homeless people in Portland increased by 37%. There was an estimated 17,000 homeless people statewide. That was as of January 2009. According to a study by Christina Smock Consulting, Portland alone has 2,727 homeless people who are living here, just on the streets. So clearly these people need our help. There's also other areas, not just homeless people in Portland, but other people who need our help. One of those, which is not so much of a local problem, but more worldwide, is people who are without clean water. There's a major lack of clean water around the world. And I found this fact to be very interesting. It was also from the Advent Conspiracy that the estimated cost to fix clean water around the world is $20 billion. And when you compare that to the fact that I told you guys in the beginning, where we spend $450 billion just as Americans every year. So that means we're spending 22 times the amount on the holiday gifts and travel, 22 times the amount of what it would take to fix our water problem. So that's just kind of a gauge as to where we spend our money versus where we could spend it. These facts are shocking, and I think that oftentimes they seem overwhelming. We don't know of ways we can actually change our habits to help better these situations, but when we narrow it down and we look at the details, I think we're able to see where we can actually make a difference, where we can help out. So as I already mentioned, we as Americans are responsible for spending $450 billion. This means we're spending it on parties, traveling, food, and of course the infamous gifts that we buy everyone every year. I think if we could just reduce spending in one of these areas, we could greatly make a difference. That statistic was accurate as of 2009, which means that's what we were spending during the height of a recession. So imagine the money that we're spending now or what we were spending before. I think we could easily take a good chunk of that money and gear that towards donations and volunteering and helping those in need. A survey taken last year by Strategy One showed that 39% of Americans were expected to spend between $100 and $400 during the holiday season. 23% were between $400 and $700. 10% were between $700 and $1,000, and 7% were over $1,000. I guess the rest of them just don't buy gifts. 7% doesn't seem like a huge amount of people, but when you consider that the United States has over 300 million people, that kind of starts to add up. That's a big chunk of money that we're spending, over $1,000 for every person. So if we start to change these spending habits, we start setting a restricted budget for ourselves, spending less money on gifts, more towards donating, giving more time, I think we could really make a difference. Keeping that in mind, here are some of the things that we can do. we can, like I said, change our spending habits, donate to a charity. As I previously mentioned, there's Potluck in the Park, which is located in downtown Portland. They're a great resource for volunteers where you can donate time and money. We can also decide at least one afternoon, maybe that's during our winter break. We can find an organization that would help us give successfully and efficiently. There are multiple organizations in the Portland area dedicated towards helping those who are homeless. Like you said, the majority of you were interested in helping homeless people rather than anyone else. So here's a couple organizations that I'll list off. Like I said, Potluck in the Park. There's another one called Outside In. The Salvation Army is great for donations. The Portland Rescue Mission is another big organization in the Portland area. And the Portland Homeless Family Solutions. So those are just a few among many. I'll give a little handout at the end with contact information to those, but I kind of want to give some brief information on Potluck in the Park since that was my specific area. I chose this organization because it's a quick and easy way to volunteer. It's not a long-term commitment, whereas other volunteer organizations are more they rely on long-term volunteers. Also, half the class said that they would rather just donate money rather than time, and this is a good organization that you can do either both. They are totally nonprofit, so they need any kind of donations that they can get for all the materials that they use, but they also need volunteers each week since they go out every Sunday. Their goal is to feed anyone in the Portland area who is in need. So that could be people who are on the streets living in Portland without any shelter, food, or water, or that could be just a family that you would never expect to be in need that lives in the suburbs of Portland. So they're there to just feed anyone who might need it. They meet every Sunday in O'Brien Square in downtown Portland, rain or shine, and they feed about 400 to 600 Portlanders. I spoke with my sister who does a lot of volunteering with homeless people, and she said that one of the best things about it is the relationships that you kind of create. They're very interested in hearing about you and hearing your stories and vice versa. She likes to hear a lot about them, their lifestyle. So it's a cool way to kind of create little, I guess, mini friendships for the day. Volunteering can not only be beneficial to those who are being helped, but I think it's very rewarding for the volunteers themselves. So think about the spending that you did last year, your spending habits. Are they really helping your friends and family? Would you be willing to look into one of the previously listed organizations and donate time or money instead? I think Potluck in the Park is a great way to change these bad spending habits. So to recap, here are some of the key things that I kind of want you to walk away with today. Remember the fact that there are 17,000 homeless people in Oregon alone, with a huge chunk of those people in Portland. Also, I want you guys to think about the money that you spent last year on gifts, what you might be spending this year. Would you feel better sending that money or helping it, giving it to someone else so it could better benefit them? I think with the list of volunteer organizations that I've given you, this is a good way to start making that change. So imagine how you guys would feel if you found out your family members or one of your friends were without food, water, or shelter. Then imagine the lengths that you would go to help them. These people that need our help are also someone's friends, their family. Maybe it's a parent who can't provide for their child. That's why it's urgent that we help them sooner rather than later, especially for the homeless people when our coldest season is approaching. They're at the most risk. In John Wilson and Mark Music's attachment to volunteering article, they state that volunteering is only as effective as you make it. They quoted that, "We propose that volunteers' attachment to their work is determined by the level of resources they bring to it, the rewards they derive from it, and the context in which the work is carried out." So if I have persuaded you guys at all to volunteer today or this holiday season, I would suggest that you do so with resourcefulness, determination, fulfillment, and of course, hard work. Sorry, my voice is so bad.
What volunteering do you do?
The most recent one I did was to a compassion clinic. So I think it's through a church. I found out about it through a friend who I work with. Her husband organizes it. So it's kind of like a free health clinic for the day. We did it at Tiger High School, and they offered dental, vision care, medical, and then I think they did like free haircuts. So anyone who was in need, and I think they served about 500 people. So all the volunteers just get together, I think like once every couple months and do that. I volunteered at homeless shelters a couple times, but that's the most recent one I to. I don't like make it a goal, but I always for some reason get kind of sucked into it. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's like I hear about it and someone asks me to do it, so I will, and it ends up being fairly often, so, yeah.
I think most organizations need, like donations or time for volunteering or.
I think they need both, but I think a lot of them do need more donations. Like I know specifically Potluck in the Park, I think it was like they only need 52 volunteers every Sunday, and I think they usually get 52 volunteers, but like I said, since they're nonprofit, they need donations for everything that they use, like the food, all the materials that they're using. None of it's paid for, so any donation that they can get is definitely helpful.
Are you gonna, you said your sister works with Potluck in the Park?
She doesn't, but she has done a lot of volunteering with homeless people in Portland. I think she got interested in it through her school, so she's done a lot with like the homeless shelter and I forget what other organizations, but definitely more than me.
Does she have with Portland State or University of Portland?
Concordia University.
Oh, yeah. Any other questions for her? After you've worked on this and done it, you know, where do you think you get more people to get involved?
Where do we get more
How
people?
would you get more people involved?
I think it starts with informing them. I think people want to help, they really do. It's just that they don't have the resources, or they're maybe just too lazy to go look and figure out where they can help. And I also think a big part of it is finding an organization that you're interested in, because if you have no interest in helping them, then you're not really going to be that helpful. So finding something that you actually want to help out with rather than just any group of people.
Ask this a general question for the class. If you volunteered, what was it that got you to do it? Was it like you were with like an organization and they all did it and someone arranged it, or a friend invited you to come along? What actually moves you to actually make the step, or has? Yeah.
Awesome.
Huh?
Just the opportunities that they were offering were really good, and it was something that I was able to do to make a difference in the community.
And who got you to really said, come do this?
One of my best friends.
I would think it is interesting, it's hard to go into an uncomfortable or new environment sometimes, and a lot of times if you do it with somebody, and you go out, at least explore it together. You know,
Yeah, that's another way. Do it with somebody.
With
That's what I've
somebody.
usually done. Makes it more fun.
Okay,